your soul has two pieces. One is you, okay? And the other one is kind of like a um it is its development is already complete, but it's not you, okay? But it's kind of like it's kind of like a guide, okay? This is always attached to you until a certain point. All right, so you have these two pieces. One is you, okay? One is you. Now, when a person dies, now let me I have to I jumped too far ahead. Let me explain something. The soul with two pieces, okay? Before it's going to be born into a physical body, it's in a certain star constellation in the sky. All right? The location, I mean, is where the star constellation is located. The location is there. And the soul is just waiting for a time to a child to be born. It doesn't matter what child it is. It doesn't pick. Yeah, it doesn't say, "Oh, I'm gonna wait till that queen it conceives, and I'm gonna go in that one because I want to live a life of luxury." that doesn't that's not what happens. It doesn't matter. Yeah, all it needs is a physical body, and I'll explain why in a few minutes. Okay, but it needs any physical body. All physical bodies are important. You know, just because somebody is in a poor family, that doesn't make them any less important than somebody who's in a rich family. The soul does not see material wealth because material wealth is not important when you're talking about spiritual matters. Okay? So, and also the culture and skin color, those do not matter to the soul. The soul is not concerned about those things. Okay? So a soul is not saying, "Oh, I'm going to be an Indian," you know? And well, you just heard me say, that today's Indians, most of them are Christianized or they're Christian influenced and they don't know Lakota Star knowledge information. Yeah, so that would be a bad choice. You're gonna be disappointed. Anyway, it doesn't choose soul. I mean, it doesn't choose a physical body based on skin color or culture or things like that. That doesn't matter. It just needs a body to inhabit. Okay. So when that opportunity comes and it gets ready to leave that constellation, this part of the universe gives us a soul piece to you. Okay? You're coming to the earth now. Yeah? So now your soul has three pieces. Okay? Now, let's go back a little bit. Let's go back 9 months a little bit here. All right? When the mother of this child conceives, immediately the earth gives a soul piece to that child, the unborn child. Okay? So that's a fourth piece. Okay? And that one comes from the earth. That allows that child to live on this planet. Okay? So, when this baby is developing in its mother's womb, it has a physical body, and from that physical body comes the personality because of the brain and emotions. Yeah, and it has one soul piece from the earth. So it has the four parts of the self. Basically, you have body, mind, heart, and soul. Heart meaning emotions. All right. and the soul piece is from the earth. So there is the four parts there. And in the Lakota ancestral world, when women started to realize they were pregnant, they started talking to their unborn children, even if they're barely showing. They start talking to it, singing to it, because they're helping that unborn child to develop emotionally already. Yeah, and then family members come and talk to it too, so that it's already becoming a part of a community, even though it's not born yet. Yeah. So that's in our ancestral world. All right. Now, when the child is born, okay, now you're coming with your three pieces, and as soon as that child takes its first breath, your your soul and its three pieces joins this child, and it joins that with that fourth soul piece from the earth. Okay? So now these are energies, okay? These are energies. Remember, the personality is created by the brain. The personality doesn't have anything to do with the soul. Now, I can prove this to you. For example, sometimes a person might get into some kind of accident in which he suffers severe head trauma and goes into a coma. When he comes to, his personality is totally different. His brain rewired itself and created a new personality. Doesn't really know his name or anything. He doesn't have any memories whatsoever concerning his past, what happened before the accident. Yeah, he doesn't recollect anything. So he's starting all new again. There's parts of his brain that still keep the way to talk, what language to speak, and things like that. But as far as his identity is concerned, he has a new identity, and he might be like sometimes this maybe before the guy was really no good. Yeah, and then after this accident, he's suddenly totally the opposite person. He's just a giant, lovable teddy bear. That's the brain. That's not the soul. That is the brain. It rewired and created a different personality. That's why I say the personality belongs to the body, not the soul. The soul has no personality. This is Lakota Star knowledge. Okay? So, now let's say the person, the soul, the person lives its life on the earth, and it is, whatever happens, if the soul is living healthy, if the person is living a healthy life, then there's development, there's soul development. Your part of the soul, that part that is you, the individual part. Remember, there's four soul pieces. One is kind of a guide. Another piece is you. Remember, those two pieces are always together for most of the time. All right? And the third soul piece allows you to be in this part of the universe, and the fourth soul piece comes from the earth and allows you to be on this planet. All right? So, the part that's developing is you. Yeah, your individual piece. All right? So however you live your life, that's going to either develop your soul or not. Okay, and so whatever happens, either your soul does develop or it doesn't. And then so now let's say this person dies for whatever reason. Immediately, the earth soul piece returns to the earth. And now, as long as this soul is still on this planet, it still has the three pieces. Okay? Now, when it's getting ready to go back to that star constellation that it came from, it travels up there with the three pieces. And once it's up there in this certain constellation, it goes into a passageway. And As soon as it does that, it drops off that universe piece, that third piece. Okay? So just those two pieces are together, yeah? You and this measuring part. All right? Remember that measuring part is complete. It's already completely developed. This is serving a certain purpose. All right? So you go through this passageway, and there is a location on the other side where a measurement is taken to see if your soul matches that completed piece. Yeah? If it does, then those two pieces separate, and then it's another story after that. Okay, but I'm gonna leave that out because we're not concerned about that right now because we're all still here on the earth. All right. So let's focus on this part. So that means, if since you're on the earth, that means your soul piece did not match that completed piece. Okay, that's why you're here, to try to complete it. Yeah. So, okay, let's go back up to this place in the stars again. And this soul took its measurement and realized it's not completed yet. So that has to turn around, come back through that same passageway again, and it comes into that certain star constellation. And from that star constellation, it gets that third piece again, that universe piece, yeah, that allows it to be in this part of the universe. Then it's waiting for the next baby to be born. And it all starts again. You see what I mean? It goes over and over and over until the development is complete. So it doesn't matter, when the soul is done with a lifetime on the earth, that's it. That experience is done. That earth experience is done now. So whatever happened during that time on the earth, it's over. Yeah, because what I'm talking about, in case you're confused, is when somebody dies. Okay, when somebody dies, all the experiences that happened during that person's lifetime, they have no more effect concerning the next lifetime. Okay, because this lifetime is over for that person. It's complete. This human experience is for that lifetime is done. It's just over. The memories are not important. What's important is that development. That's why you hear me say on this show many times that what the most important thing is how you live your life. Because that's what's going to decide if your soul develops or not. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what language you speak. Those things are not important. What's important is how you live your life. And this is coming from your sacred center. You remember what I said earlier, is that as long as you communicate from your sacred center, you don't see yourself as a Lakota or a Japanese. You see yourself as a human. You see yourself as a grandchild of Grandmother Earth. And so when you communicate to others, you see others that way too. They may not be the same as you. Other people might be communicating from their skin colors. They're not as enlightened as you are. But you just say, okay, that's their choice, but that's not how I am. Yeah, I'm over that. I'm communicating as a human, not as a German, but as a human. Do you see what I mean? So when you see like that, when you see yourself as a human, your soul is developing very rapidly. But as soon as you start saying, yeah, I'm proud to be Lakota, and you go overboard on that thought, your soul does not develop because you're not communicating from your sacred center. So the bottom line is this: if you communicate from your sacred center, your soul develops. If you communicate from your skin color, your soul does not develop. This is all coming from Lakota star knowledge. Really ancient information. So again, when you look at this, you can see that it doesn't matter what your skin color is. It doesn't matter what language you speak. What matters is how you live your life. Yeah? If you communicate from your sacred center, you're living a healthy life and your soul develops. Okay? That's really important to know. And if you don't do that, your soul does not develop. So, when you die from this life, that's it for this life. Yeah, all the experiences and so forth that that happened during this lifetime, they're not important anymore. Yeah, they've served their purpose. So you don't carry that to the next life. That stays with the body. That's not important. Yeah? But that information from this life is in the soul development. Do you see what I mean? So it's not important whatever you were in the previous lifetime, the one before you were here. Okay? So you're here right now, you're listening to this radio show. Yeah, this lifetime. The lifetime before is not important anymore. That's served its purpose. And you don't need information from there anymore because it's already showing in your soul development, so you don't need anything from that. Yeah? Try to think of it like this. When you're growing your physical body, yeah, and you start out as a baby, and then you become an adult, yeah. So your body changes through that time period. You get taller, maybe wider too. Maybe really wider. But you're changing, yeah. But you don't need to crawl around anymore because you can walk, you can run. You don't need to be crawling like a baby because your body's capable of standing up and walking. So why would you want to go back and crawl around again like a baby, you know what I mean? I mean, playing with babies, that's another thing, but let's say you're walking to work and you say, "Oh shit, I don't feel like walking. I'm gonna crawl." So you get down on all fours and you start crawling to work. You see what I mean? That crawling, you don't need to do that anymore because it's not necessary. I mean, you can if you want to. I guess there's no law against it, but it looks pretty silly. And the bottom line is, you don't need that anymore. It served its purpose. That time since you could get up, yeah, and get on all fours and crawl, from that time until you could stand up and take a few steps, you don't need to go back to that time anymore. That time period has served its purpose. That's like a past life. You see, you get it now? You don't need anything from there anymore. It's not important. So what I'm saying is anything from a past life is not important for this life because it's done. The past life is done. It's not needed anymore. The soul developed from that experience. It went to a certain level, and that's it. Yeah? It doesn't need anything from that past life because that past life is complete. You don't need to crawl again because that part served its purpose and your life. You see what I mean? You don't need that. It's not important. What's important is right now because the way you think right now decides your future. And so to influence the future in a very healthy way, you should be at peace with your past. So you have no emotional baggage, to deal with. You can look at your past, even the difficult times, and feel no emotion because you're at peace with it. Yeah, that's where you need to be. And then as you become that, you see that the most important moment is the present moment, which means the most important lifetime is the one you're living right now. The past lives, they're done. That's not important anymore. They've served their purpose. This is Lakota Star knowledge. Okay? That's the way it goes. And the soul does not see skin color. The earth does not see skin color. The earth doesn't care what color skin you have. The earth doesn't even care if you're a man or a woman. What the earth is concerned about is how do you live your life? Yeah? How do you live your life? How do you communicate? How do you receive communication? How do you learn from your difficulties? How do you enjoy your blessings? Are you at peace with your past? Do you visualize a healthy future? And everybody has this gift. That means no skin color is more important than any other. We're all important. The fact that we have a earth piece inside of us, a soul earth piece, and a soul universe piece, this makes us sacred. So your lifetime right now is the most important lifetime. Right now, the present life is the most important. And then when you come back in the next one, that one will be, because that will be the present moment. Yeah? But right now, this is the present moment. And the present moment is the most important moment. Yeah? Which means this life is the most important one. So since the soul doesn't give a shit about skin color, it just comes when there's an opportunity to come into the earth for a human experience. Okay? So now can you understand when somebody says, "Oh, I think I just love the Indian people and I just have this huge Indian interest, particularly the Lakota people, and one time I had this dream and I was doing this some kind of dance and there was a feather or two feathers on my forehead, and then when I woke up suddenly I felt that my name is two feathers and that I am a Lakota from a past life." Now do you understand that this is ridiculous? That does not hold water, as lawyers say. That argument is weak. It's very weak. This is an obsession. And remember, how you think, how you communicate is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. And remember what I said, the soul doesn't give a shit what color your skin is or what language you speak. That's not the main concern. The main concern is how do you live your life. That is the most important thing. If the earth were to favor Indian people over all other people on this planet, Indian people wouldn't even be able to move. Because the love of the earth is gravity. And you know that gravity has the same effect on all humans. That means the earth loves everybody, regardless of your skin color, because she doesn't give a shit what color your skin is. What she wants you to do is make the most out of your life, regardless of who you are, what condition you're in, what your circumstances are, as long as you do your best. And remember, in the mind, you can do many things. Yeah, visualizing. In the mind, you're free. Unless you're dualistic, then you're then you're closing your mind, as I explained earlier. Yeah? So this is really important stuff. So it doesn't matter what you were in a past life. That's done. That doesn't play a role in this lifetime. And how your desires, whatever your desires are, that is going to manifest in a dream. But that does not mean that you're supposed to be that. It's just your desire, your obsession that's manifesting as a dream. But that does not make it healthy. Yeah? It's like a drug addict that is trying to fight his addiction. And the addiction can appear as a person in a dream. And if we take this obsession too far, then we might start seeing things or hearing things. Now we've snapped our brains. Now we're going to go Looney Tunes now. You see what I mean? It's nice to learn about other cultures. Yeah, because cultures are beautiful. It's nice to learn about it. But when you try to be that culture, that means you're not communicating from your sacred center. Because if you're communicating from your sacred center, you can appreciate other cultures, learn from them, but you know that that's not the main thing. The main thing is, how do you live your life? How does that person live his life or her life? Yeah? So it doesn't matter what your lineage is. That's just serving your earth experience. But that has nothing to do with your soul. What your soul has to do with is, how do you live your life? Remember what I said, the brain creates the personality, so how is that going to affect how that person lives? This is why our ancestors, they know this, that the brain is going to create a personality, so they jump on it right away. They start talking to it, getting familiar with it, having the child become familiar with them, so that the emotional development is healthy already. It's already developing in a healthy way. It's not even born yet. So that it's already getting the community perspective, even though it's not born yet. So after it is born, and it starts learning things, and it starts to see the community perspective in action every day, and that's all it knows, and it leads a very healthy life. And the tendency really weakens for it to do stupid things. I mean, we still make mistakes, but to decrease the tendency of doing extremely unhealthy things, yeah, to prevent that begins before the baby's even born. By what I just said here. So just think of everything that I said so far, yeah. So it doesn't care what skin color the body has that it's coming into. The soul does not care what skin color, what language that body is going to speak when it's coming in. It doesn't matter. What matters is how is it going to live its life. If it's prepared by the community, by the family and relatives, by bonding with it before it's even born, that's giving it a really solid, healthy emotional foundation so that when it's born, it's going to have the tendency to live healthy. Because that tendency was put in there by the relatives talking to it, bonding with it before it was even born. That's how we influence it. Yeah? It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what language you speak. There's no such thing as a chosen race. There's no culture more important than another one. It's how do you live your life? How do you live your life?